With the Rugby World Cup starting on Friday, there are 7 big games that will shape this tournament. If you want to see that, check out this video right now. Welcome back to SkinnyBru Rugby, guys. So as you know, I have already done my prediction video for the tournament, and in that video I've kind of touched on some key matchups and some key games that we will have in this tournament. But in this video I'll talk about 7 specific games. It's not my original idea. I actually originally read an article from SA Rugby magazine, but it's made me think a little bit more, and I think I could add a little bit more to that article from my own perception on these games. If you do like the video, guys, please hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate it. And also join the SuperBru pools down in the description below for the Rugby World Cup that is coming up. Let's get into that 7 games. I split up the games into pools. So first up, it is Pool A. Ireland versus Scotland on 22 September, meaning it's the opening weekend of the competition. It's going to be a very important one because it's going to basically determine who tops the pool of Pool A and who's going to face the runner-up of Pool B, which is going to be basically either South Africa or New Zealand, depending on who loses this first game, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. Then the other Pool A fixture that's going to be very important, Japan versus Scotland on 13 October. This one isn't the first weekend, but it's the last weekend of the regular tournament before we get into the quarterfinals. Japan, they are at home, and they will be very dangerous. If they are in front of their home fans, they are a different team. And I think they will be favorites to beat teams like Russia and even Samoa in this tournament. And they actually might even fancy their chances to beat Scotland in this tournament and actually target that quarterfinal spot, because if Japan wants to get into the quarterfinals, they need to beat Scotland in this one if they actually want to get into that second place in Pool A. The third game, the massive one, the big one, everyone's talking about it. It is New Zealand versus South Africa on 21 September. It is this weekend, the first weekend of the tournament. The Boks and New Zealand, they've been pretty close this couple of years. They're on par at the moment. The Boks won last year in Wellington. This year they drew, so they'll be looking to build on that and use that to their advantage against the All Blacks. But it's not as easy as it sounds. Well, I don't even think that sounds easy. The All Blacks will be thinking exactly the same, and they will want to fight back against the Boks and show them who are the bosses. So the winner of this one will face the runner-up of Pool A, and that could be an easier game, if you could describe it like that, because it would probably be Scotland or Japan, depending on what happens in that previous game, as I mentioned. But a big thing that I should mention, if New Zealand does lose in that first game, a big beast could be unleashed that you could just not tame. I think if New Zealand loses in this first game, it's going to be very difficult for any team to stop them, especially if they do then face Ireland in the quarterfinals. It's going to be a very difficult game for Ireland to win, and any team facing them after that. Pool C, we have France versus Argentina on 21 September. It's also on the opening weekend, and it's like a knockout game, this one. The loser of this game will probably finish third in the pool, with England being favourites to top the pool of Pool C, which I kind of describe a little bit as the pool of death, which they describe a lot of times in soccer. They talk about the pool of death, or in football. France, always, they've been a surprise at World Cups. You don't know what they're going to do. Like in 2011, they lost to Tonga in the pool stages, but they came back and they actually came to played in the finals in that tournament. So you don't know what France is going to do. They always pitch up in Rugby World Cups, but they can still surprise with some weird losses over there. Argentina, if you look at their players, they have the players to beat France in that game. Players like Sanchez, he's going to be key to that side, because he does know the French a little bit better now, having played there for this year. And I think the successful season the Jaguares had they're gonna try and build on that. But the Pumas themselves, the Argentinian international team, hasn't had a successful season like the Super Rugby side has, so it's gonna be difficult for them. If they do sort out their set piece, France is gonna have a game on their hands. Another Pool C battle that is going to be important is England versus Argentina on 5 October. England, this would be their third game of the tournament, and it's the first big one they'll have. The first one would be Tonga, then USA, and this one would be their first big game. So a lot of teams do lose that first big game that they play after playing easier games up front, but this England side of Eddie Jones, he knows what to expect from a World Cup. England, they are probably favourites for this one, but a win would probably secure that top spot in the pool for them. Argentina, though, as I mentioned, they wouldn't want to get to that third place, so they would want to win at all costs in any game that they can. They would want to back themselves and win. Then another big game in Pool C. There's just a lot of big games in that pool, like I said. It is England versus France in this one on 12 October, and it's the last weekend. And there is actually something to play for again on the last weekend. Yet another Pool C clash, like I said. Another potential knockout game. If Argentina beats either one, France or England, or both of the sides, this game is going to be massive knockout fixture. If it doesn't happen though, England still has something to play for, because they would want to qualify in that top spot of their pool, because that team will play against the runner-up of Pool D, which will probably be Australia. If you look at it carefully, I doubt it would be Wales, but you'd rather want to play against Australia at the moment than Wales. So that's something to play for. Doesn't matter what the outcomes of the previous games would be. Pool D, Australia versus Wales on 29 September. So it's on the second weekend. It's going to be big as well. The form of Wales from the Six Nations, you would think they would take that over to the World Cup and build on that. Wales would probably comfortably beat Fiji and Georgia and Uruguay. So it's basically the only big game to watch out for in this pool is Australia versus Wales. They will be fighting for it to get that top spot, because whoever gets the top spot will probably face France or Argentina and avoid a tougher path to the finals. So there's so much to play for in these pools. I thought maybe I could highlight some other big games if there was anything else that SA Rugby Magazine maybe missed, but those 7 games really are the only massive games that could really determine the tournament. I think Pool C is going to be a very interesting one to watch, because so much can happen there. There's a lot of big teams over there. There's a few teams gunning for top spots. Fiji, you can look out for them as well. They can upset some sides, but other than that, I don't expect real big upsets in this tournament, but I do expect good games from most of the sides. Let me know your thoughts on that. What do you think is going to happen in those big clashes? I think it's going to really determine this tournament. And like I said in a lot of the other videos, we have an open tournament on our hands, and it's going to be a great one to watch. If you did like this video, hit the subscribe button. I do appreciate it, and join the SkinnyBru pool. If you wanted to check out any of my other videos, it will be up next to me somewhere. And before I forget to mention, I also did do a video for this weekend's games on Modern Bok's channel. He'll post it tomorrow, I think, or somewhere along the lines. I will leave a link down in the description, and then you can check it out over on his channel. And then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.